Hey everyone, Jason here from Creative Expression. I know that I've been quiet for a long time, and it's been pretty tough, pretty busy with work, end of term, um, and everything that's been going on around the world, to be honest. So yeah, it's been hard to get my head into um, dedicated sound engineering time in production, but as you know, I try and put my hours in after hours. Um, yeah, I just want to give you guys an update on what's happening with the song Castle in the Sands. But before I get onto that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's been commenting and just sending me back some feedback and positive vibes about the song Lamb of God. It's really, really great to hear what you guys think about it and how it speaks to you, if it ministers to you at all. I believe that there was a couple of churches that were interested in using it in praise and worship, which is absolutely humbling. And that's exactly the reason that I make this music. It's to worship God. So yeah, by all means, give me a shout if you'd like to do the same, and I'm very happy to give you the necessary permissions and stuff. But as for Castle in the Sand, there's been a little bit of a hiccup along the road here. So I decided to bite the bullet and to buy the fully licensed version of the software that I've been using. I've been using Live 11, and so obviously I bought the standard version and I installed it, and I thought, hey, it's taking up hard drive space, I'm going to uninstall the trial version. Now, Ableton, if you're listening, if you ever get to see this, just a little, I don't know, a request from a user. I'm obviously like the only person on earth that doesn't read through every single instruction on a piece of software when you download it, so that's my bad. But really and truly, that should have been on the box. When somebody clicks to upgrade from the trial version to like the standard or the suite version, there needs to be some sort of warning that just says make sure. So if you're an Ableton user, just take note of this. Make sure that your project files are in a separate folder to your program file. So you do not want to have your project files in the Ableton folder. You need to make a copy of that, or you need to set Ableton up to use a separate folder, because the moment I upgraded and to standard, and then I decided I'm going to uninstall Live because it's taking up the Live trial because it's taking up space on my hard drive, that is when it just uninstalled all of that and also took away every single one of the files that I'd already recorded. So that was, yeah, tragic. And as you know, I've been working on the song for about, I don't know, like a month and a half. So to lose a month and a half's worth of work is just, it's almost soul destroying. But for some reason I wasn't mad, I wasn't upset or anything. And I don't know, there was just a couple of things that were always niggling and I really wanted to get sorted. But then when I lost everything, I think the only things that I was able to salvage was my piano line and the drums and one of the synth lines. That's it. Vocals, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, rhythm guitars, percussions, drums, bass, I had to redo everything. But here's the amazing thing. Somehow it sounds better. I was redoing my vocals. I had a better understanding of what I wanted to do and how I wanted it to sound, and so the vocals, they sound a bit better. I mean, look, I'm not the greatest vocalist in the world. I don't claim to be, but I've got to try and make do with what I have. So I do things a little bit of the old school way, which is, I think, the right way to do things. So it's a technique called vocal comping. It's nothing new. I'm not breaking new ground here by any means, but I do think that it is a more solid way of producing something than allowing digital software to take over, and then you get that T-Pain sound effect where your voice sounds very robotic. I prefer to force my voice to get better. I would like to be a better vocalist. I want to learn how to sing properly. So what I do is called vocal comping. Now, back in the day, in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the time of like the Diana Rosses, the Freddie Mercurys, those absolutely mind-blowing vocalists, they could pitch up to the studio one day and they would just lay down their vocal track, and then the next week they'd be live on stage and they would sound pretty much the same. That is because they had unbelievably amazing voices. They were so pitch perfect that they could basically do 1 or 2 takes and then walk out the studio with their vocals done. Us untalented singers, however, we've got to do what is called vocal comping. Back in the day, if they had to do something like this, it would involve a lot of physical cutting and splicing of the analog magnetic tape. So some guy would sit there with the 2 wheels, the 2 discs with the tape wound around them, and he would be listening for a specific part that he needed to cut out, or maybe try and loop, and he would physically cut that, take a piece of scotch tape, tape it on the back, and keep going, bit by bit. So that would take an unbelievable amount of time. I cannot imagine trying to produce music like that. And I am so thankful for digital audio workstations. So this is how it's done in the modern world, vocal comping. Each one of these takes here that you can see is, so this is the first verse. That's me singing through the first verse, and then I came back a couple of days later and I redid the first verse. And where you see these orange bits highlighted here, that's basically the parts of each one of those takes that I actually like and that I'm using in the final take up here. So you might think, oh, but that's cheating. Well, I've already said I'm not a perfect vocalist, so this is the way that I've got to do it while using my natural voice. And so this is the extent of my digital wizardry that goes into producing my voice. I'd probably be known as a guitarist before I'd be known as a vocalist or even a bass player any day of the week. But anyway, so this is what vocal comping is like. You are making a composition of the best bits of each and every take. It is how music production goes. Rather than just having your one line and then you sit with your vocal software and you let the vocal software retune each and every note one by one, and then you just really take away the humanity of the voice. Things like that are the things that really take a lot of time in production. There's a lot of mistakes that you make. It could be you got tongue-tied, your tongue was dry, you had to swallow, you've breathed wrong, you've forgotten the words. I mean, I only write the words, I actually forget them sometimes when I'm singing. That is why I have the lyrics sheet while I'm doing my vocal takes. Yeah, the piano line I had to redo, turned out to sound a lot better. I know, Praise, you're probably going to laugh at the piano sounds that you hear on this track, but I wish I had just the talent that you have in half of one of your fingers, my friend, because I think you're a phenomenal pianist. One of the days I'm going to get you on one of my tracks for real. Guitar lines is all proper. That's me playing. Drums, bass, everything. So yeah, it's by no stretch of the imagination a digital piece. It's all analog music. It's all me playing the instruments physically, and here you go. I'm now in the editing process. Thanks again for all of you that out there that are just giving me some encouragement and support. It is being a music producer is not as flashy as, I don't know, some guys out there with weird hairstyles. You know what I'm talking about. We would try and make it out to be. To be honest, I'm not in that kind of a music industry. I'm just into production, like I've said before, because I love it and because I feel that there's something here that would be good for people to listen to in terms of a life message of encouragement. The long hours, the frustrations, I'm talking, sitting in front of your laptop screen for hours on end, listening to the same line over and over again just so that you can get it right. Playing something 30 or 40 times until you think that it's good enough to record. Because very often, like when I start writing a song, I've just got the lyrics and maybe the acoustic guitar that's how I start writing my songs. And then as you start to lay down track by track, you start to hear things and you start to think, hey, that would be a good idea. That would sound nice there. Why don't I try this? And then the harmonies start to mix together, and then you can hear another instrument in your head. You start hearing different things here and there. And then it's to sit down with that instrument and figure out where it is, what instrument it is, what effects you're going to use. And for me, that's my production process. It doesn't help when you go and lose everything, does it? I was really hoping to get this out before Christmas. I don't think that's going to happen. It'll probably be at the beginning of the year sometime. I'm also waiting for permissions from Bishop T.D. Jakes. There's a little bit of one of his sermons that I want to use in my vocal track, just as like a monologue between a couple of the verses. Hopefully I get permission to use that, because it'll be an awesome addition to the song, but if not, then yeah, I'll have to figure out something else to do. Yeah, if you guys want to have a listen to what vocal comping sort of sounds like, let me give you a quick listen here. I'll just zoom in on this part of the song. This is the second verse. So you can listen to this. Every single one of these now is a different take. And if I wanted to, I could just highlight one of these bits and then hit enter, and as you can see, it's just changed up here. You can just skip back and have a look at that. I'll show you another one here. I'll highlight that and watch over here, and this is now how Ableton software is so great. It just allows you to work so quickly, like little things like that would normally in my old software I would physically have to highlight that, click punch in, punch out, so that the software starts to record over a certain part and then stops recording automatically. You have to set those parameters. With Ableton, you're able to just, Ableton, able to. I see what you did there. You're able to just set your parameters and then it loops itself, and you just keep repeating your vocals until you're happy with what you've got, and it's saving every single one of your takes. And then after that, you might have sneezed in the middle of that word, but the take before it sounded great, so then you can highlight that one and then watch up here, you hit enter, boom, and now it's there. And so now you can see that bit of that vocal, that's where it's coming from, that bit of that vocal, it's coming from there, and so on and so on. Let me just undo this. So yeah, that's how the vocals go. And then obviously, like you saw in the Lamb of God video, I've got my normal vocal effects chain just to get the sound, the vocal sounding a little bit tight. And yeah, well, I guess that's it. That's just the update of what I've been up to, where I'm at right now with the song, and hopefully I'll be able to get this video out to you as an update, so that at least you know that there is stuff coming. I'm not having a Christmas holiday. But thanks again. Thanks for all the encouragement. Thanks for all the WhatsApp messages, the messages on my Instagram page. It's really, really good having people feedback to me. It just keeps me encouraged. So don't stop. I'd love to hear from you. Keep coming back for more. And if you think that I haven't been putting up enough content, just poke your finger at me and tell me to get on with something. Okay, guys, take it easy. And I know that you want to hear a little bit more with some vocals, so let me just find a nice little spot for you to jump in. So how about here? Listen to this. Life is fading. The scars were there upon our hearts. The harder as we drift apart. There's the sunrise. When the sunrise. When you feel like all hope is gone. Okay, guys, love your families. Tell them that you love them every day. Be good to one another and stay strong, stay happy.